Hey there, rock stars. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. So let me start by asking you a question. Yeah, Aaron, another question. I get it. But do you ever feel like your business is weighing you down with the word should? Like, I should be further along. I should be making more money. I should be like somebody else, right? Those types of shoulds. Is that something that you feel a little weighed down with right now?
Oh yeah. So our shoulds definitely feel like guidance and they're actually our anchors. And if you've ever felt stuck, things are heavy or you feel burned out, it's really those anchors that are holding you back. And so that pressure of comparison and all the other stuff that comes with that, it's secretly killing your business.
Yeah. So today, Kylene and I are going to walk through how to release the pressure, stop comparing your business to others, and really just step into a version of success that is honestly lighter. It's more joyful. And honest, this is, I keep saying honestly, but the reality is sustainably, we can't keep it up when we're under that pressure, right? There's just only so much pressure we can take. So when we look at success through the lens of the letting go of these shoulds, it's lighter, it's more joyful, and it's actually sustainable. So stick with us because by the end of this episode, you're going to have a clear path to letting go of the shoulds and moving into uncommon results.
Yep. So make sure you go share this with a friend, stop what you're doing, and then tune in. And we want you to be part of the conversation. So please participate. And then also share what shoulds are you facing right now.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we've already got some people in the comments, so we'll get back and let's participate. But Kylene, you ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. There you go.
Dark gaze, overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective. Our success group of a community so effective. We all chasing that dream, sharing struggles and fears. They understood my journey, wiped away my tears. Together we broke through, we rise above. No more feeling stuck, we're fueled by love. Our small business is shining, reaching new heights. With the support of our success group, we're taking flight, the power is strong. The vision's so clear, building our dreams with no more fear. Together we're resilient, unstoppable force. With our success group,
let's talk some business.
All right, Kylene. Well, let's stop shooting on ourselves, right? That's. I just think I'm hilarious when I say that. So I appreciate you guys playing along. I'm not cursing, I promise. All right, Chuck. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. And Jerry says I should be like the best me, right? But what if in that very moment, Jerry, the best you was exactly who you were, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. I love it. So good stuff, Jerry. Appreciate you sharing that. Awareness is definitely always the first step with anything, Kylene. We've learned that maybe the hard way sometimes, but the reality is the mindset that we need to start with here. And when we're talking about how we're going to go through this, we're following the cycle, the process of the book here, where we're starting with plant, that mindset, prepare, and then pollinate. And so when we talk about the idea of shoulds, and Kylene, you mentioned this in the intro there. It seems at face value to be helpful guidance, right? Like, Kylene, you should be on social media every day,
Yep.
right? Like Kylene said, well, I know a lot of people really successful because they're on TikTok dancing every day, Aaron. You should do that. And then she'd see me dance and go, huh, maybe not. But that's the reality, right? When we've got this anchor of should, and then we end up really stuck, right? We it's an anchor, so it's holding us back. I'll be honest and transparent with you. When I started our success group, I was operating off of the shoulds. I was in all the coaching groups. I was doing, we were going through the success principles process at the time. So I was hanging out with all those people. I mean, heck, I'm looking at Jack Canfield going, I should be Jack Canfield. I should be Jack Canfield. Right? Like, I'm not Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield's Jack Canfield. I can
Yeah.
be inspired by Jack Canfield. But at the time, that's where I was, right? I should be further along, and that stole a lot of joy from me. I felt like we should set up programs, and we did, and we had success with some of these programs, but I wasn't fulfilled, right? I actually had this sense where, not like literally stealing money, but the process that was built was, how can we get people to pay us? And then, there was even some discussions that I really pressed away from, of like, so they don't even remember, right? Like, oh, if it's only $20, they're not going to remember that charge every month. And I'm
Remember
going,
that.
it didn't work for me, right? And so it stole my joy. It really was an anchor. I was stuck, and then I went back to the more shoulds. Okay, well, maybe I should do this, and maybe I should do that, and once I realized that there is no such thing as a should, like, I can be inspired by that, right? We can build programs where people are getting value and they're happy to pay what the charge is. And so it's not about the money, but for me, it was really about making sure that people had impact, had change in their lives. And so if I wouldn't have been able to let go of those shoulds, Kylene, I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now with all of the opportunities that are in front of me. So if I should on myself and said, our success group should be this, where we've got this training program and we've got these membership groups and we've got all this, and therefore an opportunity like American Print and Supply doesn't fit that mold, then guess what? I wouldn't be working with the people I get to work with that came through that avenue. We just got done with a business by design workshop and had the pleasure of working with people that I met through American Print Supply. That would have never happened if I stuck to that should, right? So I want to invite you guys that are tuned in right now. What's a should that you've been carrying in your business lately? And even if you're watching the replay here, you guys, naming it out loud is definitely the first step. So, can we hit Jerry's comment here?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, this is really great, Jerry. Thank you. What I meant was that I'm not always what I know I should be or what I can be, what I have been in the past at times.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
really good one. And what I love is, in that awareness, Jerry just changed and let go of the should, right? Or what I can be. So Kylene and I were talking about this before we got started here, this idea of, it's really the same action, project, whatever you want to call the should, the kind of end piece. It's just how we're framing it, right? So, or what I can be, you're operating from a whole different space when that's the comment, where I can be. Good afternoon, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. We missed you. Hopefully you're doing well. So Kylene, what's your take on this awareness part of it?
Well, I think having that insight of how it's making you feel is really, really important. That emotional inner perspective, and how it makes us feel. Because when we talk about shoulds, that creates that negative energy with the shame, the comparison, and that creates additional stress.
Yeah.
And what does that do? It gives us more of what we don't want. So it's becoming aware of our language and how it's making us feel. So a personal example for me of a should that I let me stay, not share my gifts, right? Not trust myself, is I always thought I should look like be at a certain level physically to be a yoga teacher, and I should look this way of the yoga teachers I've had in the past, and should be able to do these poses before I'd ever be ready to to be a yoga teacher. And that kept me in a place of not sharing my gifts. Like you have to just let go and when you let go, it brings more peace and clarity, and it allows you to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And so it's just remembering that, you know, we all go through it. And so we're not behind and we're not broken if we use that language. We're just doing the best we can with what we're at, what we know. But now
Mhm.
that we're aware of it, then we can kind of change that language for ourselves. And, you know, we're exactly where we're meant to be right now, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah. And I love that you shared the part about, that when you were shooting on yourself, right,
Yeah.
then you weren't sharing your gifts, because
Mm-hmm.
when you let go of that, I think the other realization that I saw, at least from the outside looking in, was the fact that you shooting on yourselves also kept other people from experiencing what yoga could do for them, right?
Yeah.
Because they were going, well, the only way I'm going to show up and do a yoga class is if I'm already able to do, the stand on my head pose or whatever, right? Like, for me, like, yeah, I thought of yoga and I was like, no, thank you. I can barely touch my shins. But
Mm-hmm.
when Kylene was finally able to let go of that, it really helped me also realize that, the thing that Kylene says all the time is not just lip service. Wherever you're at is perfectly fine. You can get value and benefit out of that movement of yoga and the mindset of yoga from, sitting on a chair to, laying on your back to, like, so wherever you're at, and there's a way, and Kylene's become a complete expert in this, which has also been fun to watch, is just meeting people where they're at, right? Because that's who she is, but she's really tuned that into what she gets to do with the yoga stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, she had an opportunity to go somewhere else, but they didn't want to, incorporate the yoga concept into it, right? And so she could have gone, well, I'm a yoga teacher, I should be a yoga teacher,
Yep.
but they called it a stretch class. Perfect. Same
Yep.
thing, right? I love it. So Cindy, appreciate. She says you two have wonderful gifts, and that you're all so freely willing to share. We all have a starting point. Love
We
it.
do, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you shared that story about what it was called, right? You know, I could have, and I did struggle. Remember, I did struggle at first,
Hmm.
like, oh, can
Yeah, I
I
don't
do
think
that?
you were going to do it.
That doesn't match what I do. And then once I tried it, I was like, oh, well, it's just language
Yeah,
again. Is what it is.
yeah. I mean, again, I told my story about American Print on Supply and being open to that. Like, if I stuck with that whole "this is what I am" type thing specifically, I should be this, then again, I'm a facilitator, right? I want to cultivate uncommon mindsets. I want to help people fall deeper in love with what they get to do. So why should that stop me from doing it with somebody that gets it with American Print and Supply? Or, I
Yeah.
was able to share a sermon at a church one day. I'm not a pastor, but they invited me in and I was able to do that. Right. So
Mhm.
I should do whatever. No, I'm doing exactly what I'm being led to do. And that's where real success comes from, Kylene, that sustainable success. So I think, Kylene, awareness is the first step. And I think once we start recognizing the shoulds, it's so funny because I'm sure I say it all the time myself, and I catch myself, and then I'm like, could. Right? So I'm getting better, but I
Yeah.
also really recognize it in other people, right? And so once you
Yeah.
kind of turn that tag on, so to speak, it shows up everywhere. But that's where now we have the power to release it, right? I'm still, like I said, I'm getting better at it each time, and that's okay, right? I'm still going to should on myself some, and I'm going to hear it in others, and I'm going to say, oh, yep, nope, should, right? Maybe you could. And it's really cool to watch people experience that release that they get from just acknowledging it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. It really is powerful. And that insight is, and awareness is truly, truly that first step.
yeah, exactly. So that is that first step, and from here, right, we want to slide into the strategy of releasing and replacing. So now it's about replacing it. And, so Kylene, let me just lay out what seems like a really good 3-step practice for us,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we talked about the first one, that notice. And the way I look at this, Kylene, and the way that this kind of is more easy for me, easier, I guess would be the better way to say that, easier for me to notice the shoulds is I've really kind of been intentional about anytime I have a thought in my brain that feels definitive, like period, there's that, strong period or exclamation point at the end, I question it. Right. And I know this drives you a little bit nuts sometimes because you don't want another question. You just want an answer. I get it. But the reality is, if we start questioning things more, I'm not saying question, argue for the sake of arguing. What I'm saying is, in your brain, go, is that really true? And then just being open to the possibility of it not being true. Right. So that's the first step, is really noticing it and just being open to that definitive not necessarily being true. And then next, it's release and replace, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit more as we go through this. And then finally, we'll kind of wrap the show up here with aligned actions and what that means. But is there another practical example that you could give? Maybe it's even an example that you're in the midst of.
Okay.
A should, for example, right?
This one is pretty pretty present right now. It's social media, being active on social media.
Yeah. So you've kind of said, I should be, I have to be. If I'm not going to be successful.
Correct.
Right. And then what does that lead to for you? Like, do you get really excited then to go out in social media?
No, it becomes the things I have to do instead of get to do.
So it feels a little bit like a big weight's been put around you, that anchor that you're wearing around your neck.
Yeah.
All right.
It does.
So let's just play with that, right? Like, what could that look like instead?
I mean, it could look like an opportunity to connect with others.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I could look at the positives to it, right?
Yeah, you could, which is hilarious, right? You're queen positive, and this one's got you stuck, and that's okay, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to share that because even superheroes like Kylene get stuck with this stuff. So it's okay for everybody else to be stuck in this a little bit. But here's the other side of that too, that I think is really important. I love what you shared, right? You could see it as an opportunity. And the reality is, the action, that finished thing, like I have to be on social media versus I could be on social media. The be on social media thing can still be present. It's just changing that front part of it from should to could. Because should is like, yeah, somebody's telling you what to do, and I don't want you telling me what to do, Kylene, darn it. Stop telling me what to do, right? Even in our own head, we get that angel and demon kind of back and forth. Like, stop telling me what to do. Right? Like a buddy of mine that I used to hang out with, and we'd maybe go to a bar occasionally. We used to have this kind of running joke when somebody would say, have a great day. The follow-up was, stop telling me what to do. So we have that kind of little person inside of us that wants that, right? But if you said, Kylene, could you maybe, create a little bit more connection by being on social media? Mm-hmm. How does that feel, right? What's the difference there?
It feels empowering. It feels positive. It feels purposeful and fulfilling instead of I have to.
Yeah. And I think where people maybe struggle also is that we feel like when we start replacing the shoulds with coulds, it becomes more like, random, just, whatever. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. And that's not what this is at all, right? Goals and ambitions still really matter, but it's how we look at them, right? If that goal or ambition is like this should, you're gripped onto it so tightly, you're not going to get there. Yeah. But if that goal or ambition is just a tool, a motivational source for you, then you're not defined by it, and that doesn't define your worth. You get to, right? Mm-hmm. So the other side of it too, so that's kind of the first side, right? We can just replace it by reframing.
Yeah.
But occasionally, you can just replace it, period. Replace the action even. Like, Okay. And I'm not saying this is right for you, Kylene.
Yep.
In fact, I believe your ability to connect with people um, is actually a big superpower of yours. So, the opportunities that present themselves by connecting on social media, I think, are still real for you. But let's just play with that because that's the
Yep.
example we've got in front of us, right? So let's say that that isn't the action. Maybe you're never going to be on social media. Does that mean that you're not going to be successful? No.
Nope.
It just means that then what was the point of being on social media, right? To create more connection.
Yep.
So what could you do instead? All right, well, I'm not going to be on social media, but I am going to be more intentional about going to more events, reaching out to my neighbors, to
Mhm.
making more genuine connections, to joining a networking group, joining a mastermind group, joining the Chamber of Commerce, right? So there is times where we do actually fully replace the action as well, but we have to be open to that first, right?
Yep.
Because when it's a should, there's no opportunity to replace that action either. Does that make
Oh
sense?
yeah, because you make it a have to,
Yeah,
and you can't see outside that.
yeah,
Can't change
absolutely.
that story. Yep.
Yeah. And Cindy, exactly. Like Cindy summarized
Yep.
this perfectly for me. Be your super person, not just ordinary. There you go.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, Kylene, before you kind of dive into your side of
Yeah.
the strategy here, I definitely want to ask people, okay, of those three steps, right? Noticing, releasing, replacing, and then aligned actions, which we'll get to in just a second. But where are you at right now? Which part is, maybe this is all new to you and you're like, what are they talking about? Shoulds? Like, it's just semantics. It's
Yep.
not. It's really not. but maybe that's where you're at, right? So maybe just noticing it's where you're at. So you can put a 1 in there or say notice. But I want you guys to comment, right? Which part do you need most right now? Noticing, releasing, or aligning? So I'm going to let them do that while you
Okay.
share your side of this, Kylene.
Yeah. I mean, looking at like the emotional and the spiritual side of releasing all this, we're when we just let go of all that pressure of the have tos, and we just kind of surrender that control or trusting God's timing, whatever it might be for you, you release all that negative energy and allow yourself to have the positive energy that creates more fulfilling work, and more connection to what it is you get to do. So you're changing that whole feeling of that action in your life. And ways to get there is there's really simple things that you can do to get yourself closer to this, releasing of the shoulds. You
Yeah.
can journal. So let's say you're just getting stuck on something, just journal, let it all come out. It's taking up space in your brain, let it all come out, and maybe replace it with some affirmations in there. I believe, or I am,
I could.
I could. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Yep.
And I just want to jump in there real quick because sometimes,
Mhm.
at least for me, when I hear the word journaling, that actually becomes very overwhelming to me because I feel like it's like my journal is going to end up being my memoir, and so it's got to be like
Yeah.
journaling is a completely private practice. So the way I kind of take notes is like random words and doesn't make sense to anybody else but me.
Mhm.
And so journaling for me looks very different than maybe somebody that's a little more fluid writer right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And you do just kind of write some things out and then start replacing and stuff like that. So I just wanted to be really clear with folks on that
Yep.
journaling can be a little overwhelming to some people like me. And so I don't want you to think of it in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep. Yep.
Another thing you can do is, do some prayer. You can do breath work. It's amazing when you pause and you just reset with a deep breath. It gives your body a moment to pause before you respond. So as soon as you start feeling that negative energy, you catch yourself in a should, pause for a minute, take that deep breath in, and then you can respond and hopefully replace that with a could
Yeah.
or something like that,
Yeah.
something more positive.
Yeah.
Obviously, yoga for me has been one of the tools that I use because I get to calm my mind and I'll just let go in that moment and reset and get connected and build that harmony with my mind and my body. And that helps me get through some of those shoulds as well. So anything else you wanted to add on that one?
No, that's great. Just as a reminder for everybody, if you're not familiar with what Kylene's doing with yoga on Thursday mornings at what time?
6:30 a.m.
Central
Central.
Time. 6:30 a.m. Central Time. So I know it's early for a lot of people, but it's well worth getting up early to get yourself moving. Kylene hosts an online gentle yoga class, right? So wherever you're at on the yoga spectrum, from sitting on a chair to somebody like me that can barely touch their shins, there's a ton of value in it. In fact, my oldest son joins most Thursdays, and Keegan is an amazing young man. He's on the autism spectrum, and it's been something that he's committed to, that has really helped him grow in his life, and so I'm really proud of him for that. So if you guys want to check that out, it's riseshinesmile.com, and it's free. It's donation only. So if you feel like you want to give something back, great, but it's not expected at all. And just go to riseshinesmile.com. So I just wanted to throw that in there because sometimes we don't even know, right? So try something, try something different, because on the other side of this too, right, is if we don't have that grounding practice, if we just stay in the chaos of what that should created for us, and the chaos of our daily existences, sometimes I don't know how. I don't have a solution for you to get to the other side of this.
Mm-hmm.
The solution is you've got to start grounding somewhere. You got to change it up first, right? So, yeah, just encourage people, would you, Kylene?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to just allow yourself to be open. And when you're truly gripping on so tightly to something, you're creating that negative space. And when you just let go, you have more space for clarity and guidance. And like I said, for me, yoga is truly, I get the best of both worlds there. But some of those other, just pausing for a deep breath can truly be a huge change for you and helping you release those shoulds.
Yeah.
Because we want to take aligned action, right? We pause so we can take the right next step for us instead of going down the negative path.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, like Kylene just said, when we were releasing those shoulds, it's not just about the mindset, right? We started with that, but we've got to take that to the practical level here. And like I said, if we can't give that space back to ourselves, I personally don't have a solution for you. If you're not willing to just choose to stop the chaos for long enough to slow down, I don't know, right? I don't got a solution. So if you're not willing to do that, it's probably time for you to jump off this, because what we're going to talk about from here, that's a requirement, right? That's a prerequisite to now let's create that growth and joy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I guess before we get into the specific actions here, I want you guys to kind of develop your own action a little bit, because we can give you some inspiration, but it's not a prescription. So what's right for you is right for you.
Yep.
I'm going to issue you a challenge. Kylene, is that too much? A challenge, right?
Let's hear it.
I want you to catch one should this week and replace it with either the flip mindset, is that really true, right? And then I want you to come back either here in these comments or in the Entrepreneur Success Hub, and I want you to tell us about it. Give us a little bit of a background on the should that showed up for you, and then tell us what was the truth that you came up with. And if you want to take it even further, then you can give us a little bit more. The more that we plan on sharing, the farther we're going to go with this, by the way. So if you just think, oh, well, I had the realization. Well, if you're now then thinking about this challenge and you're actually committed to doing that, guess what? you're going to actually get way farther than if you just said, oh, yeah, I caught it. Great. I did it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, here's the thing that is so cool about this, Kylene, and I think why it was so important for us to take a whole Small Business Saturday episode is this does tie back to real business outcomes, real things that are growth and better for our business and ultimately our lives. Because when we're in this new space of letting go of the shoulds, we have more energy, and more energy equates to more output, right? More
Mm-hmm.
production, more connections, more ability to get out there and talk to more people. It also contributes to better focus. We have more clarity and we're not all the noise bearing down on us. And so better focus means that we get things done quicker. Right? I've got a million-mile long list to do. Okay. Well, if you focus on one thing at a time, you'll get that list done. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're everywhere scattered and feel all the pressure of the world, it's not going to happen. And honestly, that the real outcome is that's where sustainable growth comes from, because now you're aligned. Now you're in peace with yourself, and that pressure just naturally goes away when you're in that alignment. So the reality is an uncommon mindset like this creates uncommon results. And so when we're living from clarity, it's going to lead to both peace, which who doesn't want a little more peace in their life? But ultimately, the byproduct is going to be more measurable business growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part that people might miss. But let's keep talking about the action here, Kylene.
Yeah, I mean, the business growth when you're talking about that and the alignment. I mean, you're more connected to what you're doing, therefore your energy is going to vibrate at a higher frequency, and you're going to attract more good things to you as a result of this. So that's, truly at the very, that's why it's so powerful, and that's why we're talking about it, because you really will have better outcomes in your business as a result of that.
Yeah.
um,
Well, before
yes.
you move forward there, Kylene,
Yeah.
I want to reveal the secret sauce here.
Ooh, okay.
Right? Like we talked about the 3 steps, right? So that's the
Mhm.
practicality of this is we need to recognize it first, replace it second, and then take action.
Yep.
But here's the real secret sauce. How do we know if the action's aligned? When there's no shoulds associated with it. No aligned action will ever feel like you have to do it. It will feel like an opportunity. It will feel like something you get to do, that you're grateful for the opportunity.
Mhm.
And so it's not this big complicated mess. It's like if there's a should associated with it, you should question it. If it's in alignment, a should won't be there. It's really that simple. That's the real secret sauce here, Kylene.
Yeah, I mean, it like you said, it's a secret sauce. It's very simple, but we have to slow down enough to pay attention
Yeah,
to when those are showing up.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
but when you're in alignment. When you're doing what you're supposed to do. You can feel it. We all can feel it, and you have good energy as a result of it. And so it's really, again, coming back to paying attention to that, how you're feeling in those moments.
Absolutely.
Um, yes. Do you want me to keep moving
Yeah,
on?
let's go. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, based on Aaron's challenge to us, if you're willing to try this week, we want you to type yes in the comments. And then we want to be your cheerleaders as we go through this. So, when those shoulds show up, we're going to be by your side, motivating you to reframe that should into something you could do. And then listening to that inner feeling that you're having, if it's in alignment. So, yes, thanks for
Yep.
bringing out the pom poms too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, because at the end of the day, Kylene, right? The fulfillment, wholeness, right? I
Mhm.
don't know. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'll be honest with you. I don't believe that to be true. I can't see it any other way. That's real success. All of the other income, blah, 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 the worldly kind of idea of success, that to me seems like a should, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think those things are byproducts of real success. And so if you're
Mm-hmm.
striving for that and you're not getting there, my belief is that you're not fulfilling yourself first, and then that success will come. So maybe encourage people a little bit more, Kylene.
Yeah, just really take one aligned step every day. Peace over your hustle, and then truly having gratitude over comparison, and then just being present in the now, on instead of letting life just continue to hit you in all different directions. Sorry, I'm losing my voice right now. Um, we are all here with different gifts and different things that we get to share with the world that we've been blessed with. So it's up to us to share that with the world, and we're unique for a reason. So I have different gifts than Aaron has.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm comparing myself to Aaron, I'm just gonna squash everything. So really just appreciate where you are at, and take that next step every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever that next step is, right? It might feel different for everybody. Maybe for you, it's peace over hustle. Maybe it's gratitude over comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's presence over distraction, right? Like I know for our son, and this doesn't come from him, it comes from me. And so I have to remind him. And so I can remind myself, right? When we have that comparison, right, the reality is we're just not focused on the things that we can be grateful for.
Yep.
And so, right. So for me, it's choosing gratitude over comparison potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you're somebody that's dealing with a lot of distractions all the time, and that's kind of been your story is I'm just so busy. Right? And I'm not saying that's not true,
Yep.
but could you not try to choose some presence? Just, okay, I'm busy, but let me see what happens if I just sit here and stop in the moment and present right here. Blinders, let's go, right? That kind of thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to chase somebody else's dream, Kylene. You don't have to chase somebody else's success story. You do get to live your own once you start choosing those things. When you choose to live your own dream.
Yep, and that's so powerful.
Yep.
And you've already, hopefully you guys have already identified one of your shoulds that you may have in your life right now. We all have them.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard us talk about how to release it, and you've chosen now to take an action.
Yep.
And so the question is, do you want to keep carrying this weight alone, or do you want clarity that keeps you moving forward with confidence?
Absolutely. You didn't start your business to feel weighed down by the shoulds or stuck in comparison. You started it because you had a vision, a purpose, and a passion. And, the realities of life just somewhere along the way added so much pressure that it buried that spark.
Yeah.
But you can get it back whenever you're ready, right? And your next step is definitely not more hustle. Don't grind harder. In fact, grind less and start gaining some clarity. Confidence comes from clarity. And so what we've determined and what I believe to be true is that reconnecting with your strengths, your values, and your passions, that's what makes you you. And that's exactly why I designed the SVP session is 30 minutes. You'll uncover what really works, and you're going to stop wasting energy on things that don't work, and you're going to take steps towards things that actually fit you. And here's the best of all opportunity, and just Kylene, earmuffs here. It's free. Right? Just head over to osg.link/SVP, and you can claim your spot, fill out a little bit of information, and then we'll schedule that call together. It gives you a link to schedule a call on my calendar, and 30 minutes together to determine your SVPs and give you some more clarity and confidence in what makes you you.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, you guys please take advantage of it. It is such a gift to have that new awareness of what your strengths, values, and passions are. It's huge.
And I'll add one more thing, Kylene, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was, again, thinking about the shoulds and all this other stuff. And I think one of the things that happened was I felt like I should do something right. Kept hearing that I should charge for this session, and it just felt like a weight. And I went back to my strengths, values, and passions, and I said, "Huh, maybe it's not that I should charge for it. Maybe it's that there is value there that people are willing to invest in." And so I made this is the first time I'm telling anybody. So I've not shared this publicly with anybody else, including my wife. So she's hearing this for the first time. Starting 2026, this program will be a paid program. So the SVP assessment, free till the end of the year. All right.
All right.
So with that being said, what else can we do, Kylene?
Yes. Well, we want to, just continue this conversation and, helping you. And so come and join our Facebook group. If you're not already there, the Entrepreneur Success Hub. It is a place where you can connect with other business owners who understand the journey that you're on. We're all in this together. And you can find us at osg.link/group. Erin has the link up there. And if today's conversation resonated with you, just comment one statement that captures what you're taking from today's show. We do learn from each other. And so the more we can interact, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, that's really the point, Kylene, right? Any groups that we're in, any resources that are available to us are really only as valuable as what we put into it in our participation. And so if you're not posting, replying, becoming part of the conversation, you're probably diminishing the real value there. I know, Kylene, you've been feeling it lately, right? Because you've been a little bit absent in it. So I hope that this spark gets us all more involved. And, that we'll be back next Saturday. We're going to have Small Business Saturday. Actually, I've already got the topic. I was like, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but it showed up for me this last week, and I put it together already. So we're going to be talking about an acronym called PATH and how we can use that to all these things that we've been talking about, right? And I want to get us to where the rubber's meeting the road here. Mm-hmm. And so this is kind of what I see as the next step to the rubber meeting the road. And so we're going to have some more clarity, purpose, but then less stress because of the momentum and action that we're taking. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel already at liveosg.com, please do that so you're aware when the shows come out every Saturday at noon, but anything else that we post on there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You can choose the power of positive energy and gratitude in your life at any point in time. The success you have is already inside of you. So we're just choosing to pay attention to it. So it is a different choice. So I'm excited to talk about our topic next week, and I hope to see you all there.
Absolutely. And a rising tide lifts all boats. So in fact, as Cindy says, the little song, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine your light. It's worth it. Absolutely. 100%. Cindy is a great example of that too. She's a very, very successful business owner because just her light, like every time I've had a chance to be around her, it's like shades have to go on. All right, you guys. Absolutely. All right. Well, a rising tide does lift all boats. So we can't wait to interact with you more. And until next time, thank you guys for tuning in.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Dark days, overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective.